Hello and welcome everybody to another StarCraft 2 cast by Glitch. Today, I'm bringing you more from the MLG Orlando tournament. This is going to be a best of 3 between the STC and EGHuK. Game 1 is going to be here on MLG Metalopolis. We can tell it's MLG Metalopolis, of course, by the supply depot that is at the bottom of every single player's ramp. And spawning here in the right position, the 3 o'clock position, as the red Protoss, we have, playing for Team Evil Geniuses, we have EGHuK. Spawning in the 8 o'clock position as the blue Terran for Team oGS, which of course stands for the old generations, we have the STC. Now the STC is kind of, in a way, he's kind of an up-and-coming player. He's a little bit more recent. He played a lot in beta. I think he became very famous, actually, in beta. But then he had to go away and do his military service in Korea and was kind of, sort of playing some, I guess, while he was still in the military. But then once he finished his military service, which was very recently, he moved back into the oGS house, and he's been training there ever since, under oGS The Wind, I believe, is his mentor there. And ever since then, he's been doing very well. He was at MLG Orlando. He did pretty good at MLG Orlando, I think. Did he do? I don't remember what exactly he got in it, but I guess that's a good thing because I would spoil it anyways. We don't want to know who wins this match. But I remember him playing really good and taking some wins off of some really, really good players. So we're going to have to see if he can take a win off of EGHuK here in this 3-game series. So far, EGHuK has managed to get a gateway up and a gas geyser as well, and it looks like EGHuK is going to be placing that smart pylon. Love this pylon placement, just because units tend to, if they go across the map, if you just kind of right-click across the map, I believe that the units will tend to go along this top path. I believe that's correct. I could be mistaken. As you can see, this SCV definitely went down this way, but that is because oGsTheSC is actually controlling that one SCV, and now what do we have here going down but a second barracks going down? This supply depot here is absolutely critical for the STC. He needs to completely deny EGHuK from getting up and into his base. Ooh, needs to be careful there. Needs to not let EGHuK up. Ooh. Nice little supply depot close there by the STC, now just making this look completely ordinary. So far, everything that EGHuK has seen looks completely and totally ordinary, though he does not have an accurate gas count right now. Is not at all going to have any reason to expect that there's any kind of proxy barracks up right now. I mean, it's a possibility, but it's not going to be high on his list of possible things his opponent could be doing, because as you can see here, the STC, from the front, from what EGHuK has seen, this doesn't look that unusual. I mean, how often have you poked up into a Terran's base and just seen one barracks and some supply depots and not managed to get into the base? I mean, it happens all the time. Does not at all indicate that a 2-Rax is necessarily coming. But as we can see, the STC is going to be getting up a very fast add-on here. He's going to be getting up a tech lab on it, interestingly enough. So he is going to be trying to go for probably a Reaper, most likely. That is the most... whoa, no, it looks like he's actually going to be going for a Marauder here in a very, very fast concussive shell. Going to be going for a very, very early Marine Marauder timing push here on EGHuK, and EGHuK is actually going for an expansion right now. He does not have that much in his base so far. He has only been operating off of one gateway. One Stalker is moving across the map. He's going to start to poke into that base because EGHuK is still trying to desperately get more information. He really needs to know more about what his opponent is doing. See how he's microing it up the ramp, but all these Marines are going to get in from the back, and they might be able to pick that Stalker off. Both these players trying to get around real quick. That Stalker is just a tad bit faster than that Marine, but it looks like he is just barely going to survive. In the meantime, Marauders continuing to be trained down here in this lower position that EGHuK has still not yet scouted. And here we go. The Marines are now moving out across the field. Going to try to pick off that one Stalker. That Stalker, I think, will just barely get away. And yeah, there he goes. He's going to hop up on that Zelnaga Watchtower. But I think that's going to be the end of that Stalker. There he goes. The Marines now coming down, and EGHuK wisely pulling it back. But now we do have Marauders going up into the main here. And oh, that force field kind of pushed that one Marauder up into the main. And that is going to be deadly here for EGHuK, because that is going to give vision of the STC up onto the high ground. He can now see everything down from the low ground. He can be shooting these probes with these Marines, and he now has this one beefy tank unit up here at the top of the ramp, and EGHuK right now only has one gateway up. He's got a couple more on the way. He was chrono boosting out that warp gate tech, but as you can see now the force field's going down and not blocking that many units out at all. They are going to be able to just walk around that quite safely, and now the bunker is now going down for the STC, and HuK is going to have a lot of trouble holding this off. He only has 3 warp gates right now. He's chrono boosting them, trying to get more units out here, but all he's got is 2 sentries, and they are both really low in health. The bunker's going down, a lot of probes being pulled off the line so far. 16 workers killed for the STC. Worker count right now is 24 to 12. STC doing an absolutely amazing early push here that HuK was definitely not expecting at all. HuK did manage to pick off that SCV that was building the bunker, but now there are still 3 Marauders up here, and he's trying to get into a good position here so that he can be focusing down these probes and HuK won't be taking too much damage, and it looks like the STC is finally going to be forced to pull back. He is continuing to rally more units to the front there, trying to micro and kite that one Zealot back, and it looks like he is going to be able to pick off that Stalker. Again, kiting that Marauder back so that this Marine can do optimal amounts of damage, keeping that Marauder alive. Brilliant micro there by the STC. He's going to come in here, and the Marauder is finally going to go down, but there's another one down on the high ground there. Love that move from the STC there, and he knew it wouldn't be able to get up the ramp in time to be able to save this Marine, just because Marines are slower than Stalkers, so he just brought it right down to this lower position where he could immediately start shooting at that Stalker. More forces continuing to be rallied across right now. The STC back home is taking an expansion, and more barracks are being thrown up right now, and all of them are currently rallied right into HuK's base, and these Marauders continuing to apply a lot of pressure, a lot of probes going down here for HuK. HuK only at 17 food now to the 39 of the STC. Probes being forced to pull off the line, but he's just losing so many of them every time he does. And ooh, the Stalker does get picked off there. That early Marauder concussive shell does so well in these early game situations where you can kite units so very strongly. Beautiful move there by HuK. Uses a little bit of a mineral ghosting trick there, right-clicking on that mineral patch so that all those probes move through the Marines' Marauders, and then A-moving so that they all get a good surround on those units. But man, those units just taking out those probes so fast. More units continuing to come in here for HuK. Looks like that bunker is finally going to go down there, but the STC has so many forces. Getting a scan up onto the high ground. It looks like he might just barely be able to pick off that Stalker. That Stalker escapes with 1 hit point, but STC is just going to be moving up that ramp, and now all the probes being pulled off the line here for HuK, and he's trying to get a good surround on those Marauders, but the Stalker does go down, and now he's trying to kite away from all these units as much as he can, but I just don't see HuK coming back from this. Even though this push has pretty much been held, I don't think HuK can really come back from this. He's running out of resources. He's completely out of resources. He can't warp anything in right now, and there's only 1 Marauder and 1 Marine in his base, but as you can see with that concussive shell, he's able to effectively kite that Zealot all around, and that is going to go down, and more probes are now going to go down as more Marines enter the base, and EGHuK is going to be GGing out of Game 1. Nice little early push there by the STC. That means we're going to be going into Game 2 right now, ladies and gentlemen, to see if HuK can come back from that loss in Game 1. So stick with me.